I'm so excited to be here today with Dr. Ann E. Streaty Wimberly from Interdenominational Theological Center and Dr. Almeda Wright from Yale Divinity School. And you just gave a wonderful lecture on memory and joy. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just going to put it out there. What is the relationship to memory and joy?
Well, when we think about memory, we have to think about it in several ways. First of all, there's a memory that we call procedural memory, which has to do with our calling back ways of acting. That is, we know we can put our clothes on right side out rather than inside out, and that is procedural. Or there is a memory that's called semantic memory, where we call back certain kinds of knowledge, like we know what a house is, we know what a hill is, we know what a horse is, and we know the difference between them. But there's also a third memory that's called episodic, and those are events that we recall that have had some meaning in our lives. But what we wanted to emphasize today was what is called cultural collective memory, and that is memory within a particular cultural group that has in it images, knowledge, visions, values, poetry, music, and so on, that builds the identity of a culture. And its importance for joy is that embedded in each one of those is a sense of joy, or how we feel about what has happened in the lives of a people, but also how we've come through difficulties, especially in African American life. How in the world was it possible for our forebears to find joy in the midst, really, of mayhem? And that cultural collective memory is what we draw on to find how they did it, and to really invest in that joy and embrace that joy and see how we can tap into it for the present.
Mm-hmm. And some of the things that we've really emphasized is the ability for us to invite young people to remember and to be a part of this cultural memory, to see themselves as part of a continuation of the memory, a continuation of the story, and to be able to say that this is my story too. And so that's some of the stuff of why memory is so important for the process of inviting adolescents into remembering joy, so that they can then see and go forward from that and say there is something that was part of our past, something that's part of our heritage, but that I can apply now. And so the joy becomes not just the past, but something that they're going to build on and add to in the present.
Exactly. And in fact, the past becomes a way of interrogating the present. You interrogate the past in order to ask, what does that mean for me today? And you can become really quite critical about it and quite reflective, and looking at what there was in music, what there was in poetry, what there was in a sermon, that we look at and say, yeah, I see that, and that's where I am, or that says something to me right now, and I can see how it was possible for them to find joy just listening to a particular song, or just listening to a particular poetry, or even saying it for myself. So it's interrogating the past and interrogating the present together that we claim what was past for the present.
Thank you.